Hi gardeners, I wanted to give a quick update on the Bay Area garden for the month of June 2021. I'm starting with the front yard. I have several guava trees here. This one is actually 4 years old. As you can see, it has some flower buds, and this is a pineapple guava. And this is the ruby red guava, and it has tons of flower buds. I'm really looking forward to having at least a couple to taste this year. And I have one more guava here, and then I have a red Malaysian. The red Malaysian is also flowering, which I'm super excited about. There you go. This is the flower bud right there. And I have some nectarine. This is a dwarf nectarine in the front yard. It's almost ready to be picked. And dwarf peaches. These are Dave Nilsson. Is that what it is? Wilson, sorry, Dave Wilson nursery trees, and their trees are usually very high quality. I really like them. This is a dwarf apple, green apple. Doing good. No fruits this year. And this one is a star fruit tree. It actually had flowered. If you can see, there are some flower buds here. I don't know if it actually pollinated or not, but you know, it's a brand new. Oh, there are more flowers here. There you go. But it's a small tree, so I'm not expecting it to fruit this year. This is my tangerine in a container. And I have this pomegranate here for nearly 5 years, and it just hasn't fruited yet. So I'm wondering if it's a flowering variety. And this is a dragon fruit, and it was actually started from a small cutting. It has taken off like crazy. I need to trellis it. Some roses in the front, and this is my front yard right next to the driveway. This is also the front yard, but next to, in front of the house. And this wine barrel, I have some okra going. Everything is dripped completely. I don't hand water anything. I don't have time for them. And a couple of berries, a blackberry and a raspberry. And this is a star fruit. Look at these flowers. There are at least 15 flowers here. I don't know if they're pollinated or not, but it's growing really, really well. Some flowers, a lot of mums, and this is a white hibiscus. Isn't that pretty? And here is my Manila mango, again still in container, but it has new growth going, so I'm excited about it. I got this 7-gallon Manila mango plant from Everglades Farm in Florida. It was a mail order shipping to California. You know, if you guys are looking for some exotic fruit trees, shout out to that farm. I really like them. This is also my front garden. There is a bunch of corn plants growing here, and some pumpkin, and the rampicante squash, and my rosemary, and I have a bottle gourd plant here. Again, still in the front yard, some flowers. Look at my curry leaves, aren't they beautiful? It's fairly healthy, and I do prune them heavily every year. And I have one more curry leaf plant here, and this is another bottle gourd being trained. Right behind it, unexpectedly, there is a Malabar spinach. I actually don't even remember putting the seed here. I don't know how it got here, so I need to make sure that it grows and it has space. And this is the nectarine tree. It's a fairly old one. As you can see, it's not doing that great, so I am using it to grow other creepers on it for the time being. All right, we are in the backyard now. This is the same nectarine tree I showed you from the front yard. Let's see. These are the red okra. Doing reasonably okay. And this whole creeper here. The vine here is all lab bean or hyacinth bean or avarekai in Tamil or chikadaka in Telugu. And I have, I think it's also rampicante, I'm not sure, a squash. Some flowers, I don't even know what these flowers are called. I thought these were cosmos, but I could be wrong, I'm not really sure. But then, you know, there's some more beans here. And in between, there are some pepper plants growing along the drip line. This bed is really a mixture of okra and pepper and the beans, and then some squash along the wall, and some pole beans. This is a new trellis structure that I built. You know, it's basically just the garden stake with the C clips, and then I have the twine going up to support the creepers. It's growing really good, and I love these flowers. It's so beautiful. The yellows and, you know, vibrant red. And look at this. This is a mixture of yellow and red. Isn't this pretty? Absolutely gorgeous flowers this year. I'm so in love with this set of flowers. And this side, I had rooted the pineapple, put them on the ground, just hoping for the best. Let's see. Some more beans, pole beans. Doesn't seem to be doing that great, so maybe I'll give it some fertilizer, organic fertilizer, and see if that helps. And I have some more pepper plants along the way. And this is again another hyacinth bean. These are actually a green apple cucumber. That's the name of the cucumber. I'll see if I can find a picture. Again, more pepper plants along the way. And that's this section of the backyard. And I have let's see if I can show this fruit to you. This is the mulberries. The season is almost over. We have harvested most of the fruits. They're actually really tasty. It's very sweet. And this one is, as you can see, there are some tiny fruits here. This one is the jujube. And this plant in a container is a gooseberry. I already ate them all. Here's a kiwi vine. Hasn't fruited yet. It's supposed to be a self-fertile. This is my compost bin. And sorry about the mess here. You know, I'm actually removing the last year's compost and using them on the beds. I use the geo bins. It works out for us. This one is Asian pear. And look at the plums abundance. All right, now we actually get into the real deal backyard. First bed here has ash gourd plant. Again, a lot of mixture. I tried to pack a lot of plants in the same place in a bed. Eggplants, nasturtium, some peppers, and another type of pumpkin. More peppers here. It's mostly peppers and pumpkins. Oh, and there is some Malabar spinach. That's first bed. And just right next to it in container, I have some more bush hyacinth bean and some yellow zucchini and the gray zucchini. And this is my second bed. Let me show you a better picture. This is a second bed. I use the concrete cinder blocks. So in these blocks, on these little holes here, I have put, several varieties of eggplants. This one is a thorned eggplant, an Indian variety. This one is also, these are all Indian varieties as far as I know, but just, different variations of them. And this one is a bottle gourd plant up on this trellis. It's growing really well. And these guys are the Turkish eggplants, the orange color tiny eggplants. And some okra here. There is some space, so I have some seeds starting, so hopefully I'll fill them up. This was my butternut squash. Let me show you a fruit or a female flower. I don't know if she pollinated or not, but look at that. There you go. It's butternut squash. That's my bed number 2. And let's go on to the next bed, number 3. This one. This has on the cinder block sides, I have mostly flowers. These are all my zinnias, some chamomile, and then one of those yellow flowers. I'm guessing cosmos. I don't know what it is. And then on this arch trellis, I have bitter gourd growing, and it's actually already on the second one, it's completely taken over. And look at this baby bitter gourd. Isn't she pretty? I'm so excited. And this is New Zealand spinach. Again, there's some space in the middle. Maybe I'll use that to grow some cool shade-loving crops. And there is a couple of zucchinis thrown in the middle. They're not doing that great. Let's see what happens. Couple of more okra plants and more flowers. And this is another pole beans. If I'm not mistaken, this is the rattlesnake variety. So I just basically staked it with the garden stakes and some ties. Basic trellis setup. All right, bed number 4 has again some flowers. This is I think it's a marigold variety. I could be wrong, but the leaves look like marigold. And this is my Armenian cucumber. Look at these babies, Armenian cukes. And this is the regular, that 55-day variety that you buy in the you can get these seeds in Home Depot. And this entire patch here is all bush beans, different varieties of bush beans. And some more flowers coming in, some chamomile. I have harvested tons of chamomile. And here in the end of this bed, I have what's called a dosakai. It's a type of a cucumber. I don't know if you can see this female flower here. It's probably like a size of a hand, and we usually use them in dals and make chutneys and stuff like that. That's bed number 4. Here is my next bed, number 5. These tomatoes are from last year. Actually, this entire plant was last year's plant. Even that tomato plant is last year's tomato plant. And I have some pole beans growing here and some basil in the shade. More pole beans. And this is the orange habanero pepper, last year's plant. So this bed number 5 is full of tomatoes, peppers, and beans. What a combination. And a basil. That's number 5. Here is the last vegetable bed. On this row, I have one in the back, a big one. This again, that's going up on the arch, is the lab bean, the hyacinth bean. Some nasturtium. And along this trellis, I have tomatoes growing. Again, on this side, I have tomatoes growing. On this side of the tomatoes, I'm actually trying the Florida weave to keep them straight. On the other end of the bed, I have one more hyacinth bean growing up the arch trellis. So it's basically 2 arch trellis, 2 sides, and in the middle is fairly empty right now. I do have 1 lettuce plant and some mustards growing. It may be a little bit of cilantro too, but I have a lot of seedlings coming up very soon. And along this bed, this is, I have some grow bags with Turkish eggplants. And my banana, this is the Cavendish banana, the dwarf one. And pole beans, the purple pole beans on this container. This corner, right after all these vegetable beds, this is a corner that, when you walk out of the deck, you go this way. And we have a pergola here. There are a couple of grape plants, the vines that are growing up, and even a pumpkin on this side, which just took off. So hopefully we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen when actually it has a big pumpkin. We'll have to figure that out. But the idea is we are going to make some seating arrangement here. We haven't gotten around to it yet. But I also have a couple of other things going on in this meantime. It's again a pole bean. This is a jamun plant, a 2-year-old, and it's actually taking off, and it has several branches. I'm looking for a space to put this plant on the ground because it is supposed to grow really tall, 30 to 40 feet, and it's evergreen. It doesn't shed leaves in the winter. And apparently it grows in fruits in Bay Area according to some online research, so I'm really hopeful. The grapes, and I have a pomegranate along the fence here. I am hoping to keep it contained. And this area, I have 4 containers of blueberries. I don't know if you can see them. They're doing reasonably okay. And there's a little, solar water fountain here. There is no direct sunlight at the moment. It's early in the morning. As soon as the sunlight hits, it actually takes off. It's really pretty. I have another video of this that I'll share in this section when it's really fully flowing. And here's my apple tree. Really old one. There's an apple here right there. This year, for some reason, this apple tree is not doing that great. I mean, not many fruits as much as we expected. I have on the deck, I'm using a small space for seed starting and some other baby plants. These are the tindoras. I have a couple of them growing here. And here is my seed starting area. And this is a persimmon in this area. That's my lemon tree. And we have a little hammock here. And the cherry season is over. So that's the back deck area. So along the back fence, there is an entire, I'm guessing approximately maybe 50 feet long section of bed, completely made with a cinder block. This has quite a few going on. Let's see, this is a pumpkin that's growing up the strawberry tree and is going up to the pergola there, and a couple of squashes, and these are the green eggplants. I have to be super cautious because there is drip lines going everywhere. And there is in between, there is some Malabar spinach. Oh, there is a pepper plant in between too. This is crazy. And these are the ground cherries. I did not expect this ground cherry is going to take over so much. This is all ground cherries. So I would actually get down and prune one day because it's actually blocking the nutrition and the sunlight to a lot of other plants. In the middle here, this little creeper that's growing up is the Mexican sour gherkin. And back there is another hyacinth bean. We love those beans, so we eat it quite often, so we have several of those plants. And again, more beans. And this one is actually a butternut squash, just getting intertwined with all the other ones, but I'm just going to have to let it go because it's just really complicated to untangle them at this point. More peppers. This entire section is all butternut squash, and sunflowers. Oh, there's a cute ladybug. This is sunflowers. This is a red sunflower. This was kind of an accidental thing. I mean, I didn't expect to grow it in this section. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. Somehow it got planted here and it's taking over the space, casting a lot of shadow to my pepper plants here. But once the sunflower season is over, I'll take them out. Yeah, let's go through this little tunnel. And this is again bitter gourd. I don't know if you can see this. And this is again a bottle gourd. Some more flowers here, more pepper plants. So this section is completely filled up. The last section is along the house. Right next to the house there is a tiny strawberry patch and some containers with most of these plants here are last year's plants. Some amaranth, I just harvested them. There is some Swiss chard, last year's eggplants, last year's peppers, marigold, last year's pepper, last year's eggplant. This one is the loofah gourd. This is a brand new plant, obviously, as you can see. And this one is last year's Mexican sour gherkin. Look at the fruit already. And more New Zealand spinach, some flowers, more New Zealand spinach, pepper, mint, French sorrel, pepper, lemon balm, and finishing it off with a pretty flower. That's it, guys. That's the tour of my backyard and / front yard garden. Fully dripped. I did it all by myself. It's doable if you are wondering. And looking forward to a great harvest this year because there is quite a few plants going on. So hopefully it should be sufficient for my family. We're just a really small family, so we should be good to go. I'll keep you guys posted on the updates and what's growing and what have been some of the challenges as we go through the season. And in the meantime, happy gardening.